on camera. Illegal jumpers caught in the act, tossing trash onto more trash on the side of the road in Northwest Miami-Dade. One man is seen dumping a bunch of palm tree stalks there. This is in broad daylight, and then just driving off. Well, police say this footage led to the arrest of the two men who allegedly dumped debris 3 separate times in the West Little River area.
In Miami Shores, police searching for a man who was caught on camera breaking into a woman's home. She was still inside at the time. That victim saying the crook ran away after she started screaming. The break-in happened in broad daylight, January 19th. A silver 2011 to 2013 Nissan Rogue was seen speeding away. Call police right away if you have any information that can help make an arrest.
Well, a tri-rail train crashing into Miami Gardens Friday, killing a pedestrian. Well, we want to show you here. Sky 10 was overhead as authorities investigated this. This happened in the Miami Gardens area. Yellow tarp you can see there covering that man's body. This happened at Northwest 13th Avenue and 155th Drive. No word on why the victim was on the tracks.
This morning, we're learning the name of the man killed in a deputy-involved shooting in North Lauderdale. Deputies say they were responding to a call about a man with a knife. He was pacing back and forth inside a clothing store right off West McNabb Road. Once outside the store, police say 26-year-old Jeffrey Sachs refused to drop that knife and charged toward a deputy who then opened fire. The man was taken to the hospital where we're told he died from his injuries. The deputy who fired his weapon has been placed on administrative assignment as the investigation continues.
Well, now to a break in the case after a deadly shooting in Miami that happened 2 years ago. Police arrested 35-year-old Wiseman Elsema, who now faces a first-degree murder charge in connection to the killing of 27-year-old Breonna Pascal. Now, police say Pascal was shot multiple times in February of 2019 by someone who jumped out of a stolen Honda Civic wearing a ski mask. The victim's girlfriend couldn't give detectives a description of that shooter, but provided them with a list of women she previously dated, including that suspect.
Well, now to the vaccine rollout. The push continues right now to get a shot in the arms of minorities in our state. The NAACP partnering with CVS right now to help make the vaccine more easily accessible to Black and Hispanic communities. The effort comes after new data revealed more than 5 million white people have been vaccinated in our state, in comparison to just over 510,000 Black people.
And now to a grim milestone in the pandemic. The global death toll from the coronavirus officially topping a staggering 3 million people today. And on that note, let's take a look at the latest numbers of COVID-19 statewide. Florida reported 7,300 new cases today. 1,400 are in Miami-Dade, 939 are in Broward, and 16 new cases in Monroe. The positivity rates are between about 5 and 7%.
Well, final goodbye for Prince Philip today. The funeral service will pay homage to a beloved husband and father. You're looking at live images right now. This is outside Windsor Castle. As you saw, there's already plenty of activity underway all across the pond.
That's right. And a funeral for the late Duke of Edinburgh is set to take place at St. George's Cathedral a short time from now. ABC's Julia McFarlane has the details.
Nearly a century ago, Prince Philip began his life an exile and refugee. But today his coffin will be placed among kings. Today, as he is mourned and honoured by a grateful nation, the Duke's coffin makes its final journey in a specially modified British Land Rover which he helped design for this very day. Following a short procession, Prince Philip's coffin will be interred in the royal vault. The small town of Windsor is used to holding large-scale royal events, but today the mood is sombre and respectfully quiet. COVID restrictions mean that the public will not be allowed to gather to pay their respects, but many have gone out of their way to anyway, leaving flowers, messages and tributes to Philip outside the gates of the Queen's residences. Today's ceremony will be televised, with the whole nation tuning in, not to mention the millions more around the world. Instead of the 800 guests originally planned, just 30 people will be attending the service. The Queen's closest remaining family and 3 of Philip's German relatives, all branches of his family represented. His decades of service in the Royal Navy during World War II and his years as Captain General of the Royal Marines will be reflected in the tributes from across the armed forces. Royal Marines buglers will sound battle stations and troops will fire their guns in tribute, marking his commitment to duty and service during both war and peace. In military tradition, the playing of the last post signifies the end of the day's activities. For the 99-year-old Duke, who spent most of his life in active work for Crown and country, the song marks the end of his very long service. Well, it's been a turbulent year for the Queen and the royal family, but today they are projecting unity as the Queen prepares to make her last farewell to her beloved husband. Julia McFarlane, ABC News, London.
All right, back to live pictures outside Windsor Castle. Hymns and music will reflect Prince Philip's military ties and wartime service in the Royal Navy, as well as his more than 7 decades of support for his wife, Queen Elizabeth II. ABC News will have live coverage starting at 9:30 this morning right here on Local 10.
But first, still ahead, Chicago residents demanding change after officers shot and killed a 13-year-old boy.
What police say happened and why body camera footage may prove otherwise.
And more demonstrations clashing with police in Minnesota after protests in honor of DeWant Wright, who was also shot and killed by police. The latest details when Local 10 News comes right back.
I wanted to show you this massive typhoon in the Pacific. Same thing as a hurricane, it's just called different out here in the Pacific. Near the Philippines, there's China. Japan is farther to the north behind that banner there. And this is a massive storm system. Look at the clouds extend over 1,000 miles, about 1,300 miles across. Expected to kind of scrape the coastline in the Philippines. And we know this all too well in South Florida. These storms that are just massive, maximum sustained winds, 125 miles per hour, can still cause a lot of damage and have some big time effects, even if it doesn't make direct landfall. We still have about 45 days here until the start of the Atlantic hurricane season, so we have some time. And if the only thing we have to worry about right now is the heat, then I'm okay with it. 92 degrees, it's going to be hot though. You definitely need some AC today because the record is 91. I think we can break that today. It's all because a nice southwest breeze is kicking in, so the air heats up over the Everglades and then moves in as record heat instead of just coming in straight off the cooler water. That's what we've had pretty much this past week, so that's why we stayed into the 80s, but it's not going to be the case this weekend. Look at tomorrow, even warmer, 93 degrees by around 3 o'clock. That would tie the record high temperature for tomorrow. Maybe a stray shower or two Rain chance 10 to 20%. Many of us will end up staying dry, at least for this weekend. You can see a couple of those tiny little showers, especially Sunday night. This is 4 o'clock, mostly dry, but see a couple of these showers moving in Sunday night? Most of it will hold off till Monday. Be spotty, hit and miss downpours. Some of it could be heavy, though. We could use the rain. And it's only going to be slightly sticky in terms of humidity this weekend, which is why we're not getting a ton of rain. So just a little bit sticky. Watch this green kind of take over South Florida. That's that nasty Caribbean humidity that makes a comeback as we get towards next week. I wanted to show you that because temperatures are going to be highest this weekend, 92 to 93. It comes down a few degrees Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but it may actually feel hotter to you during the next work week because the humidity is going to be higher. And that makes a huge difference. There is a brief dip in temperatures on the way. That'll be by Thursday. I think there's a front that'll kind of stall out and wash out on top of us, enough to bring us back down to where we should be. That is average, is 83 degrees. We are just so far above average for this 5-day stretch. 83 degrees sounds like a cool down, but it's not much. And it does look like a summertime pattern, so pretty stormy, at least through the end of the work week.
All right, new details in the tragic mass shooting at a FedEx facility in Indianapolis. Police say 8 people were shot dead by a former FedEx employee identified as 19-year-old Brandon Scott Hull. We've learned his mother reported him to police last year in March, saying he might be a danger to himself. At that time, police temporarily held him and also took away a shotgun. Well, in relation to this, the shooting happened late Thursday night. The video that you're seeing here yesterday, police released the names of the victims who were killed. They ranged in age from 19 to 74. The names of the other 5 victims who were hurt have not been released.
Nobody should die by that. We're here to get a paycheck, but then we can keep on living.
Officials say there were nearly 100 workers inside the facility when Hull pulled up and opened fire. He then reportedly took his own life.
Well, a massive march in Chicago last night. Hundreds of people took to the streets demanding justice for 13-year-old Adam Toledo after he was shot and killed by police. Chicago officials have released body cam video of that deadly encounter. Police say the teen had a gun in his hands. The attorney for Toledo's family says that's not what the video shows.
Please stop! Stop right now! Hands! Show me your hands! Stop it! Stop it! Shots fired! Shots fired! Get an ambulance up here now!
So the video shows an officer chasing one of 2 suspects down an alley after receiving 911 call of shots fired. That's when police saw the teen and fired a single fatal shot into his chest. He died right there at the scene.
No parent should ever have a video broadcast widely of their child's last moments. Much less be placed in a terrible situation of losing their child in the first place.
Police say Toledo had a gun in his hand, that they recovered it from behind a fence, but the body camera footage shows him with his hands up and not holding anything at the time that he was shot. The officer who shot the boy has been placed on administrative leave as this case continues.
An unrest continues in Minnesota following the police shooting death of 20-year-old Dante Wright. Police used pepper spray on a protester last night after an object was allegedly thrown at them. Flashbang grenades were also used to disperse the large crowd that gathered outside the Brooklyn Center Police Department for a 6th night in a row. And we want to make sure we give you context here. About 100 arrests were made, all of this stemming from Wright, who we know was fatally shot by an officer during a traffic stop last week.
Still coming up, a group of cows taking over a Florida neighborhood.
The measures some residents are now taking to get the intruders to move on out.
Up to the minute forecast with Brandon Orr, only on Local 10 News, your weather authority.
We want to take you back out live to pictures. This is outside of Windsor Castle there. A final goodbye for Prince Philip today. Now, the funeral service will pay homage to a beloved husband, a beloved father. Music will reflect Philip's military ties and wartime service in the Royal Navy, as well as his more than 7 decades of support for his wife, Queen Elizabeth II. Prince Philip died on April 9th. He was 99 years old.
It's incredible watching these images unfolding right now. Coronavirus restrictions, we should note, mean that instead of the 800 mourners included in the long-standing plans for his funeral, there are only going to be 30 inside St. George's Chapel, including the Queen, their 4 children, and 8 grandchildren, as well as 3 of Philip's German relatives. We're going to bring you live ABC News coverage of this funeral. It's coming up in just a little bit at 9:30. But in the meantime, in Miami Lakes, a blood drive is being held to benefit Epilepsy Florida, a nonprofit organization dedicated to the treatment of people affected by epilepsy and seizures. This event is going to be taking place today, 5753 Miami Lakes Drive, running right now from 9 a.m. till 3:30 p.m. If you'd like to donate blood, make sure you bring a photo ID and also wear a mask. All donors will be getting snacks and refreshments at this event.
We also have this. South Florida's Caribbean community is coming together for a St. Vincent Volcano Emergency Relief Drive. This event will be held at various locations from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can donate items such as canned foods, first aid kits, baby needs, anything you can think of, flashlights, so much more. And if you cannot bring supplies in person, you can always make donations online. All right, let's go over to this, shall we? A group of cows just will not move out of this Florida neighborhood.
Yeah, the animals they were seen wandering around this week, they have been for quite some time, but people nearby say the cows have actually been taking over the Jacksonville neighborhood since 2019. And the problem is they eat everything in sight. Same. Understand, relate to that. Some people turned their sprinklers on, car alarms, just to see if the cows would move on, but no reaction from the cows. They did stop to get a drink from some of those sprinklers instead. Police say they're working with the owner of the animals to secure the property so this doesn't happen again. It's actually a pretty cool sight. I wouldn't mind having something like this as long as maybe they would clean up after themselves. That's when it becomes a problem.
I mean, the way they're just prancing from one house to the other. Like I said before, it's like you wonder, they're probably thinking, what are you doing in my home?
They're
Okay?
like trick-or-treaters. Somebody out there is feeding them, and we're going to figure out who.
All right, 2019, an ongoing problem. We'll check back in 2022. All right, we are going to be back on the other side of the break with so much more news for you. Stay with us.
All right, right now we're going to break away from local news and take you to an ABC News special report.
Coverage of Prince Philip's funeral in Windsor, England begins now.
Ever know.
Has given the most remarkable, devoted service to